Well, welcome to the Inworld Review. Glad to have everybody back here again today. And we've got a really fun show. Our guest today is Donn DeVore, and he is, oh man, I've really recently just discovered him, but I just have a blast at his musical performances. So let me first of all say hello to Donn and just say hello, Donn.
Hello.
All right, welcome to the show. And just quickly, I'll introduce the rest of our production team here. Pet Love Pet Shop is to my right. Hello, Pet Love. Oh, caught her off guard. Are you muted?
Oops, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Hello.
Hey, welcome. And then next to Pet
Thanks.
Love is Thurza.
Hey there, everybody. Nice to be here.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So, as I said, we're going to have a fun show talking about music, and oh, you may have noticed that Donn and I are enjoying some fine chemical enlightenment today. So but it's part of the culture that we're talking about. So I hope that's
Herbalicious.
herbalicious. That's
That's
right. That's right. So we'll get a deeper understanding about Donn and his music. But first of all, as is our tradition, we want to jump into this week's Hypergrid Happenings. And so let me cue that up and get that going.
For Inworld Review, I'm Thurza Ember, and once again, this is Hypergrid Happenings. OpenSim is made up of hundreds of independently owned and operated virtual worlds, and at any one time, there are dozens of musical events, opportunities to learn, to play, and to socialize happening. And once again, we'd like to showcase just a few of the things coming up in the next few days. And by we, I mean myself and James Atloud, who's behind the camera. First of all, I'd like to tell you about Inworld Review this Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Our guest this week will be the multi-talented Donn DeVore, who will be telling us all about his adventures as a music maker and also his 15 years of experience as a performer in virtual worlds. And don't forget that this weekend is the kickoff of the Pangea Art and Culture event. It's a truly international event this time with artists from France, Argentina, Germany, and USA and more. The festival, as always, will be spread out over many months with special events on a variety of regions. So check out the Pangea website for more information. The link to that website, as well as the links to all the events, you'll find in the comment section of this short, so you can just copy and paste them. The lovely Kyren Ametsa will be performing on Tuesday over on Neverworld Grid. She's a Brazilian songstress, and she'll be at the Barefoot Ballroom on Barefoot Lands region, which is a very cute campsite place, as well as having this gorgeous venue. Pro tip, there are evening outfits for men and women available in the courtyard of this ballroom, so you can combine your dancing with a little bit of freebie shopping too. On Friday, why not refresh your spirit with an hour of storytelling and music over on AMV Grid? Yichud Mooney weaves tales of fantasy with beautiful tunes on Sim Daur Anari, which, if I remember my Elvish correctly, means wise words. Anyway, that's at 12 noon grid time on Fridays. Don't miss it. It'll make you feel much better. Also, don't forget to vote. There are two options for when the OS Fest 2026 will be held, either in August or in October. And you can vote for your preference on most kinds of social media. Just look for the OS Fest groups to do that. Or if you don't like social media, you can send an IM to Shalane Air in World and let her know which dates you prefer. And check out the OS Fest website, where lots of information will be popping up as soon as the event planning gets underway. All this plus another HG Safari trip on Wednesday at 12 noon. We go to Monterey Bay and then a blissful fantasy hunt on Ignis Fatua's grid. So all in all, another busy week in OpenSim, and join us again next time for some more Hypergrid Happenings.
All right. Well, I I don't remember. Did you talk, Thurza, about Pangea Grid in this shorts?
Yeah, at the beginning,
Yeah,
because it's
okay.
Lampitala Artists has organized once again that wonderful art and culture event that they do that lasts about 6 or 8 months of the year. So it's just getting going now this year because they had a few real life things going on, so that slowed them down a little bit. But that's beginning. It began this weekend, and if you go over to Cold Sim, which is the landing place really for the whole of Pangaea Grid, you could see a lot of booths there that represent all the different artists that are involved, including Luna Lunaria. So there's like a tribute to her, and Terra Miriam is there.
Mm-hmm.
So you got French and American and German and Swedish artists. It's really going to be a great event.
It's a really nice build, and we went there the other, I guess, just a couple nights ago, and I'm amazed by all the artists and all the creativity that are brought to bear there. And then it was fun. I went over and looked at the parade floats from the Mardi Gras, which are right nearby. So I thought that was really spectacular and really well worth a visit to check that out.
I did want to correct one thing that I said in Hypergrid Happenings, which is actually wrong. I mentioned that we're going to Ignis Fatuus Grid. We're not. We're going to Arkham Grid this week. This is next week.
Yep.
And so Felix has got a beautiful sim that's all sci-fi, appropriately named Banham, because usually there's certain difficulty getting there sometimes. So that's the name of the sim. But it's going to be a really fun trip. And of course, the first part of it will be going to Monterey Bay, which is over on Groovyverse.
It's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Groovyverse. I've heard of that place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Pat Love, did you have any comments about the Hypergrid Happenings?
It sounds every week. You make a Hypergrid Happenings sound as wonderful as they really are. It's a shame we can't get more people to go because they're fun. I mean, I can't go as often as I'd like to, but when I do go, it's fun. It's like, and it's interesting and it's amazing. I mean, so many different people do so many different types of things, and they are worth sharing as much as possible. You could do a whole show. You could do an hour every week on Hypergrid Happenings.
Yeah.
You really could. And people would
I
love
don't
to
think
watch it.
I think I can die of suffocation.
Okay, your lieutenant could do Hypergrid Happenings.
Right.
If you notice, I barely take a breath in the whole 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If I try and do that for an hour, there could be a problem.
But you're Superwoman, woman. Come on.
All right. Well, thank you
Okay.
both. Yep. And so I think we're ready to get to move on to the main portion of our show. And so, Donna, welcome you back again. And I have to say, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. And I want to say you kind of sold me on the Pangaea art exhibit too. I kind of want to go check it out now too. This is the first I've heard of it. And I'm like, this sounds
worth
pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah.
And Blampy, who's the
So,
organizer,
good job on that.
she's a real world artist, and she's done stuff. She's exhibited all around the world, so she really knows what she's doing. And because it's here in OpenSim, everybody's got lots of space. They basically the whole grid becomes a festival fairground because the festival moves from sim to sim. And so everybody gets to build on their own space. And then there's a big festival. Everybody shows up. There's usually like 30, 40 people at every event. So it's a really well done thing.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Is this where we should talk about Dismayland as well?
Yeah, we can. We're going there at the end of the season. It's going to be if you like to be insulted, that's the place to go.
It's very snarky. It's like a snarky Disney World. And at first I was like, this isn't funny, but actually it was pretty funny.
It's hilarious, but you have to have the right sense of humor to get it.
Oh,
You gotta have the right frame of mind.
I have that
love
sense
it,
of
Donn.
humor. Yeah.
I think
It's
you'll like
brilliant.
Dismayland. Yeah. What grid is that on again? I forget.
It's got XOAX grid. So
XOA.
it's got a weird name, but we can definitely put a link to the Spax's grid in the comments. I'm sure he will appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Should.
All right. Well, good job, everybody. Let's So I have to confess right off the bat, I'm kind of a super fan of Donn. So I'm a little flustered a bit with the technology. I see a couple little boo-boos I've made during the show, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna stay focused. And what I'd like to do first, Donn, is I'd like to, as I said, I'm really a latecomer in getting to see your music and your performances, but I absolutely love them. I love the style of music. But I thought I'd like to give our viewers just a sample. And I went to a show that you did doing covers of Pink Floyd music. That was
Right. That's something I used to do a
wonderful.
lot, and it's more of a rare occurrence now. Every few months, I'll pull the Pink Floyd show out, and play all of Dark Side of the Moon or The
No,
Wall
it was incredible.
or Wish You Were Here. I'll just do like the entire album,
Yeah.
just with tracks and just sing and play it
Nice.
all. And so that's a lot of fun. I used to do that years ago when I first was, coming up in Second Life and
well,
virtual worlds.
All right.
And so now when I do it, it's like people are like, "Oh, I remember when you used to do this all the time. This is great." So yeah, it was fun to do that show. Yeah, let's listen, have it, check it out.
Yeah, it was the first time, so I recorded a little excerpt of the show. So let me jump over to that. Buttons everywhere.
You guys, please be good to Ganja Land, providing a nice, lovely cave space for us to come hang out. For me to set up all this equipment and kind of go back to the 1970s Pink Floyd era.
I let the chord hang for a long time.
Wow.
Beautiful.
I don't know who did that gesture. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun show. That turned out really
Good time
well.
tonight here at the Relapse, man. Appreciate y'all being here. Let me give thanks real quick. Daisy, thank you for the tip. Loud, thank you. Mirrodin, Ganja, thank you so much. Lamira and Wristband and DZ and Zahara, appreciate those tips. It's been a long time since I played some Pink Floyd music, because I normally play my own musics.
I left a little bit of the dialogue that you do with the show, Don, because that's a really fun part of the show is the interaction and the way that you speak with folks. And so I guess what I'd like to ask first is what brought you to this kind of music, and just a little bit of sense of what's been your musical journey to get to this point today.
Okay, how long is this show?
About an hour.
That's a long story. Yeah, because I started like as a little kid. I was like probably 5-6 years old, messing around with pianos and keyboards and things. And finally, we got a guitar when I was 9. Took lessons, and played just acoustic guitar for years, and kind of just built up the foundations of how to play the instrument. And then in high school, got into rock and metal bands and things, and played a lot of Metallica and Slayer and sort of that thrash metal 80s style of stuff. Was really into that. But I also was into electronic music at the same time. I was a weird kid. I was like, I like metal and punk rock, and I also like dance music and Michael Jackson and Prince, the pop music of the time. And so with both of these influences coming at me all the time, I was like, I had a eclectic taste in music, I think. And that just continued on. I just discovered more music as I got older, got more into like Pink Floyd, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and was just learning as much music as I possibly could on guitar, especially, and played in bands all through high school and college, and pursued audio engineering and recording studios. I did that for a career for years and years, and went to school for audio engineering and moved to Seattle and made a lot of records with a lot of bands over the years. And yeah, so there's just been a lot of different musical influences, from jazz to classical to video game music to all the history of rock music, to international music and electronic music and dance music and trance and house and all this. And so I just had this really broad, appreciation for a lot of different styles of music. And some of it I play in Second Life, or in virtual worlds and open grid sims and stuff. And when I play Pink Floyd music, it's very nostalgic, because the fans of Pink Floyd are like, oh, this is great, and we like hearing all these classic rock songs and stuff. But a lot of times what I've been focused on for the last 10 years or so is original electronic music and synth wave and
Yeah.
techno and trance and things. And so, yeah, we might listen to some of that later in the show.
Yeah,
here,
yeah, absolutely. You know, I
but yeah,
one
I
of the
found
things I love is you know, going to your shows, I can hear influences like Art of Noise, again,
sure.
Jean-Michel Jarre. I hear, and I hear all these things, and those are old bands. I mean,
Yeah,
those are long-haired,
yeah,
old, you know,
Tangerine
electronic
Dream,
bands.
Kraftwerk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it always amazes me when those come back. You know, when they come back into influences, and it's just I listen
Hmm.
to that stuff for hours. I mean, I think I listened to Jar for hours. Art of Noise I loved, so it's the influences are
Yeah, that was a big
fantastic.
influence on, yeah,
Yeah.
moving more towards or combining synthesizers, drum machines with guitars and creating, doing covers and doing older music is fun, and remixes and mashups and things that I do live. But what I really like doing these days is just making new music that sounds like old music.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like this retro synth wave kind of 80s sounding vibe, like a music from a John Carpenter soundtrack or something,
Mhm.
or from a
Mhm.
from a horror movie,
Yeah,
or
that's right.
from,
Carpenter did all his own soundtracks.
yeah, he did a lot of synthesizer
Yeah,
work
yeah.
on his
That's
movies and
wild.
stuff. So that's a big influence. And then the whole vaporwave, synthwave movement over since about 2010 or so has kind of
Yep.
been a big influence on me. I've listened to a lot of, you know, down tempo,
Yeah.
lo-fi, kind of synth-based music. It's new music, but it sounds like it came off of a cassette tape from 1983, and
It
it just
does. It
sounds
totally
so
does.
nostalgic and beautiful. I'm like, I want
But
to make
it's the
music
real
like this.
deal. It's the real deal,
Yeah,
and it is beautiful because it is the real deal. It's the true morphology of music. It's the what's the word? You know, when something grows and
Lineage
swamps.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Pedigree. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
something
the way
like
it
that. Yeah.
evolves and the influences create new
Yes,
styles and new genres, and then branch off into subgenres and things like that. So that's what I've kind of gone
definitely.
into, is my own genre
Yeah.
of different styles and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. You
yeah.
know, you mentioned the mashups, and I got to say one of my
Hmm.
favorite mashups that I've heard is when you I don't know which song of yours you do, but you do the Cantina Band from Star Wars.
Oh, right.
and and
Yeah, I
it's
mix
so
that in with Blue
brilliant.
Monday.
And
I
it's
do
so
Blue
brilliant.
Monday,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then it just, yeah, I kind of slide into, yeah,
yeah,
a live remix of the Cantina Band and go
yeah,
into
yeah.
like a little,
It's awesome. It's a
you know,
blast. So
techno break on that. Yeah, that's fun to do. We're gonna do that. Actually, we're doing a Star Wars show next week, pretty soon,
really?
and
Oh boy.
for the May the 4th. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
right,
like
right,
Star Wars Day is May the
right.
4th be with you.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's not going to be on the 4th. I think it's on the 2nd. I'm playing like a Star Wars theme show, so
Okay.
I'll definitely play
Is that
that.
a Tuesday night show?
Excellent.
Do you think?
I believe so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that would make sense.
Or it might be a Saturday. I think it's a Saturday. It's going to be at
It
Voltaire's
is.
Crossing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well
But anyway,
then,
yeah, that's
excellent,
that's a
excellent.
thing.
Well, I do want to mention that you know, we have been a open sim focus show for a long time, but I'm going to say it's okay to
Hmm.
talk about Second Life. And you know, you've got a massive history in Second Life, and I think there's a. Did you have a question about that?
Yeah, I was curious to know how you got into virtual worlds. It's interesting what you were just saying there about
Hmm.
how you found it fascinating that filmmakers would also add their own input to the music side of the soundtrack of their films. And I wondered if that had something to do with it. But can you tell us how you discovered Second Life and other virtual worlds, first of all, and what
For
got you
sure.
interested in performing in World?
Well, I first found Second Life. It was on like a news article show, like 60 Minutes or some
Hmm.
kind of, human interest show, and it just talked about the real estate boom and how people were making money and you could fly and build stuff, and it was very new. This is like 2006, and so it had
Right.
only been around for about 3 years at the time. And I was like, I'd been playing World of Warcraft for a couple of weeks, and just thought, this is kind of, I don't know, I'm getting a little old for games. I was in my
Hmm.
30s. I was probably 32 at the time, and I thought, oh, let's go check out Second Life, because nobody's trying to kill you. It's not really a video game. It's just it's just
Something
a place to
different.
explore, and
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
social environment. And I thought this would be fun. And so, yeah, I started exploring and just made an avatar, and still have that same avatar.
Cool.
Edward Kiamoon has been my name in there for almost 20 years now, and so that's been my main avatar. And yeah, I found live music shows and saw other people performing, and I thought, you know what, I could probably do this, and figured out how to do streaming and video streaming, and started just doing it myself, and got
So
into
you
the
didn't
music
come in
scene.
because you were immediately thinking that you wanted to play music. That's pretty
No,
interesting.
I found music long after.
We have
Somebody else
that's like
introduced
Wallen
me to that.
Wobbett. Wallen Wobbett was on our show. He's a blues
Oh, I did. I watched
guitar
his
guy.
interview. Yeah, I listened to some of
Yeah,
that.
and he was the same. He just came in and he would just be in World just to chat with friends. And then somebody said, "Well, we're going to a concert." Oh, I didn't even know there was music
Right,
here.
that was the same way. I was like, what are people doing music? Yeah, and so I went to a show and saw the guy was playing, and he had like 75 people at this show and all these tips,
Right.
and his tip, and it showed how much he was getting tipped, and I was like,
Oh,
hey, this is real money. I can actually,
Right.
this is like a sustainable, viable gig for musicians. This is like a
Without leaving
legitimate
home.
gig. And you don't have to leave at home. And I was
right.
I was thinking about playing gigs where I was living in Austin at the time, but I didn't want to play bars. I don't like alcohol. I'm not a big fan of drinking and alcohol. I'm just really averse to all that world. And so I didn't want to support the alcohol industry. And I thought this is a great way to like work as a working musician. You get all these gigs in virtual worlds, online, live streaming, and you don't have to smell other people getting drunk. But this is a great deal. And so that was
And
kind of
plus
a
you
big
got an
motivation.
international audience too.
Yeah, have an
you really
international
get.
audience, be able to play places you would never be able to play, and find,
Sure.
connect with people that you would never
Yeah.
otherwise be able to. So there was a lot of, benefits to it.
oh yeah.
And how did you discover? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, James.
I was just going to say, given music in virtual worlds, I can go to a concert and even a small show, at a small venue, but I can't talk to the performer.
Right.
I could try and raise my hand, I guess, and get his attention. But in virtual worlds, we can chat with you while you're performing, while you're talking, and it's the most interactive experience I think I've ever had with music, and I absolutely
Yeah,
love
because
it.
in a way, it's like we're one of you. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
not really
Yep.
separated by the backstage area of the
Yeah.
venue, like you are in real life. And
Yeah.
and so we're out there in the audience with you, and then it's my turn to go up, and then I do my show, and then I come down, and I'm in the audience with you.
Yeah.
So it's like you're connected with people a lot more.
It's more
that way.
intimate.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
And so, do you obviously? Second Life was the first virtual world of this
Right.
type that you discovered. So how did you find out about other grids, other types of virtual worlds?
Probably whatever manager. I'd have several managers over the years in Second Life, and worked with a lot of different bookers and agents and things. I think probably one of them turned me on to Open Life. I think at the time it was around 2011, and it was just when the open source grids were starting to come online, and Open Life I think was one of the first ones. And then later I found out about Inworlds, and I played at
Right.
Inworlds for a little while that was going on. YR Grid was another one. But sometimes people come to me. Sometimes I don't usually seek out a lot of gigs. Usually people come to me, or I would have a manager, an agent at some point in time to kind of get
Sure.
gigs for me and to book them and say, "Here, you're playing here at 2:00," that kind of thing.
And we know that you perform over on Groovyverse. Can you tell us how that came about?
Yeah, that's my friend DZ, who's been a friend and a listener of my music for a long time in Second Life. She was like, "You should come over to this Open Grid Groovyverse that we're building and check it out." And I thought, okay, sure, let's check it out. And I really like what they got going on there. These Sims are so big compared to what we've been used to for so long. It's like you never have to do a sim crossing. It's like, well, you can just keep going and going. And so it seems like a lot more potential for creativity. And yeah,
And of
it's
course,
just a matter
maybe the crowd's a little smaller, although I don't know if that's really the case anymore. I know the early
they're
days
starting to
of
grow.
music.
No, we're starting to
Yeah.
get some momentum with audiences coming in, and
Cool.
it's really hard to pull people, as you probably know. It's hard to pull people out of one world and get them to go to another world. I mean, it's sometimes hard
That's
to get
true.
people just to go to YouTube or to my website. It's like people just
Right.
don't want to leave the thing that they're doing.
Right.
And so it's you really have to persuade them and draw them and say, "Hey, come over here. We're having a good time."
But the cool thing is, once you're over here in OpenSim, even if you're on one grid, you can get to all the others.
Exactly.
So you don't have to
And
keep
so
making different
it
avatars.
opens up a whole new world and possibilities for audiences and venues and connecting with different
And
communities.
it gets easier and easier too. It used to be more difficult, but now
Right.
it's
That's
not
true,
as
too.
difficult. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, everything seems more sort of stable and reliable. And
Yeah, it's
and
taken a
less
while to get
buggy.
there.
Yeah,
That's-
less buggy and
that's
less
true.
crashy and things. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
OS Grid's now what 18 years old, so
Mm-hmm.
and we all can remember the the early days when you were lucky to get three people on a sim without the whole thing
Right.
crashing. But now, when we do our trips, when we go to different grids and we bring in like 10, 15, 20 people, come all show up at once, and we're able to pretty much survive without too much lag, which is a
Hmm.
thing we couldn't even dream of back in the day.
Right.
Do you get into that? The idea of how these different
Lord.
places work, was that not really your scene? You just perform and let the magic happen back.
As far as the technical back end of things, I'm not really into that so much. I've been more involved with like organizing events and putting on shows and things like that. That's kind of more my forte.
And I think, yeah, I think Pat
And
has a good
promoting.
question though about the technology you are into.
Oh yeah, as far as like my music technology, that's
Yeah.
Go for it,
it
Pat.
goes pretty deep.
Okay. Basically, I just was going to go on about how important technology is to all of us in virtual worlds, but the real question is how many types of equipment have you adapted since you've started working with virtual music? Is there
Well, I mean, I've been playing music my whole life and kind of grown from, like playing guitar in bands to being like kind of a solo act where I'm a one-man band. I'm playing all the parts or pre-programming
Totally.
and triggering these parts live and doing live looping and things.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of grown over the last 20 years. I started out playing acoustic guitar, right? And a couple of microphones and
Oh,
singing cover
wow.
songs and playing Bob Dylan and playing, Wish You Were Here and Tom Petty and a lot of like pop covers and stuff that was kind of the standards, right? That you have this list of
Mm-hmm.
standard cover songs that everybody sings and the requests that people want to make. And that list started to grow over the years, and a couple of hundred songs. And I started making my own backing tracks and incorporated electric guitar
Mm-hmm.
and more production with Pro Tools and building my own tracks and just trying to expand, my repertoire at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was all kind of guitar-based music. And then around 2011, 2012, I started just buying more keyboards and synthesizers and that's led to just being fully into keyboards and synthesizers and drum machines and electronic music. And so I've kind of like over the years
That's
transitioned
awesome.
from rock
Mm-hmm.
into electronic music, and as well as like doing live stream video. I haven't done it in a while, but I want to do that again here pretty soon. But I was one of the first to start incorporating live stream video within Second Life and virtual worlds, so you could see the avatar and the real me at the same time, performing on guitar, doing what I'm doing.
That
Yeah.
was one of the
Yeah.
earliest films I made in Second Life, and it was a performer, and I had him side by side with himself virtually and in real life because he happened to be on a screen in real life. So,
Right.
and that was really cool. That's a brilliant idea,
Yeah, we were kind of
actually.
the
Hmm.
pioneers of that type of thing where you're combining these multiple technologies to have this, more immersive experience and more authentic
Oh
experience.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kind of like
yeah.
live stream video in a
Yeah.
virtual world with the chat and all that.
Out into the real world.
Right. Right.
Coming to
Yeah.
a bar near you next Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our dear departed Mel. I mean, that was a big thing for him. The Greyhound pub down beneath where he lived, they were doing mixed reality things with real
Oh,
people in the
right.
bar
Yeah, we did a
talking to
little bit
them.
of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we did a little
totally.
bit of that where you go to a live venue and say, we're going to set up a screen and
Yeah, yeah.
play some
Yeah.
live music. And here's our virtual
Exactly.
audience and the real audience. And yeah, we've done that kind of
Wave,
stuff before.
say hi.
Yeah, right. Well, on this topic, I've got I took some clips from, and I don't know if you want to set this up a little bit, Don, but you did a thing that blended so many technologies together, and it was a concept album that was made into an in-world performance, and it's a multimedia uh, masterwork. It's really incredible. And so this is called The Long Way. I've got a clip of some excerpts, but I don't know if you want to set this up before I play it.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about how that came about. That was actually a commission work where someone approached me and said, we want you to compose a rock opera and put on a theater show, and we think you can do a really good job because we like your music and see what kind of potential you have. And, this is like a long-term thing. And I thought, okay, well, I could probably do something like that. I got some songs. It's not going to be a rock and it's not going to be opera, but yeah, I can make you a musical theater show. And so I did. I spent about 9 months, almost a year, producing a show called The Long Way, A Futuristic Musical Journey. And it's a sort of synthwave, electronic music-based, cyberpunk, futuristic story, this sort of mix of Blade Runner and Pink Floyd The Wall, in a way, but with electronic music. And so we put on this show, and it's set in the year 2047. I had some friends of mine that I basically hired as actors, and I recorded the soundtrack. So it actually, it was the other way around. The movie, or the play, the theater show came first, and then I made the soundtrack and released the album afterwards. So yeah, the actual album is, after we did all the shows.
I was going to ask. Yeah, that was interesting.
That's how that worked out. So yeah, the soundtrack and the story and everything is called The Long Way, and it's about a guy in the future called Lex, and he has a robot assistant called Amy, and he's really sick, and he doesn't know why, and he's trapped in this dystopian city that he can't leave, and it's like you're sort of in this Blade Runner cyberpunk 2077 type world, and he doesn't know why, and so he contacts a friend of his who gives him a special map to go outside of the city into the wild zones, or the wild lands as they'll be called in the future, and he meets with a shaman in the forest, and he has a shamanic experience in the forest that helps him heal and transform his psyche into a healthier being. And this is the story of his journey. And so it's a combination of virtual live performance, AI generated video, like psychedelic imagery, particle effects, AI generated voices, real character voices, and it was all performed live before a studio audience, literally hundreds of people in the sim watching us perform. With flying cars, we have, it's a spectacle. So yeah, if you want to go and play a little bit of it, you get an idea of what I'm talking about. But that's the basic rundown. So
absolutely, and this is I made a 3-minute clip out of over an hour performance. So
it's about an hour and 10 long.
Yeah. I think it's just some of my favorite parts. So let's roll.
Yeah, let's have a look.
All right.
And I said, well, it's not going to be rock and it's not going to be opera, but I think we can make something cool. So we made The Long Way. Let's create the future. I hardly recognize him now. I wonder how I look to him after all this time. Years of pain reflecting on my face. God damn, Lex, it's good to see you, man. It's been a long time. Yeah, man, it's been way too long. How you been?
Yes, I know. I get that a lot.
Amy smiled as she led us into the bar.
AI androids are excellent drivers compared to our female human counterparts, since AI was developed for autonomous vehicles in the 2020s.
We arrived at a campsite in the forest. Z was waiting for us. She was. It's all just temporary. Nothing lasts.
Lex, are you okay? Lex, can you hear me? Lex, are you okay? Lex, can you hear me?
Something I realized when I was coming back down. She's been here for me this entire journey. And I'm fine with being alone, but I guess I'm not really alone, am I? I have Amy. When I'm alone and the sound drifts through my mind, it makes me feel like it's 1985. Yeah, come on. Let's go find a new home. This part always gives me chills.
so
tough.
gorgeous.
Some of those songs are like I got to stay with them, and how do you cut away from them? It's too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky editing with music. Yeah, you
Yeah.
did a good job though, fading in and fading out. That was a good summary.
I
Yeah,
hope it gives a taste of it. You know, it just
for
brought.
sure.
I just got chills listening to even those little excerpts. So it's good.
Yeah, me too. I haven't watched it in a while, but that was a
And
big part of my life for a couple of years. I mean, that really took over. That was a weekly thing
it
that
was
we were
so
working on.
innovative. It was really innovative. You came in and out of virtual to to virtual real to virtual and
Right.
included the audience in the set, out of the set. It was really a pleasure.
Yeah, I wanted to take, what I went to different theater shows, dance troupe shows, particle light shows, and I took all these elements that I thought were kind of cool that would, be useful in what I was producing. And I'd watched a lot of this stuff over the years too at different events. And I thought, how can we combine all this together to create this really futuristic environment and with characters and moving sets and changing locations and do all this in real time along with a soundtrack that's playing. And it worked out really well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, combining all the AI voices, AI video, Second Life, particles, set design, and just the story itself is very personal to me because it's kind of something I went through in a way. And it's kind of a message about, alternative medicine and alternative ways of healing and getting away from society and going back to a more holistic nature connected kind of existence. And even though we live in this technological advanced materialistic world, the idea of cyberpunk as a genre is to warn us against that type of future, right? That's the whole purpose of it. It's
Yeah.
like, let's not go that way.
Right.
Don't sacrifice this
So-
for that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the idea behind it. And I'm really happy with the way it came out and the way the album came out and just it's kind of the highlight of my whole Second Life experience
people
and
get-
virtual world experience.
And people can find the album on your website, is that right?
Yeah, I have a Bandcamp page with my albums and music and a website and a YouTube page and all that kind of stuff. I think we have some links.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'll put some
Yeah,
links
they'll be
in
in
the
there.
description here.
Yeah.
Including the
Cool.
the full performance of Long Way. So.
Yeah, if you want to put that up, yeah, for the full show. So
And you should have all this in your profile too. You could, consider that because I went and looked at your profile in here, Don, and my gosh, it was blank.
Inworld, you mean? Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Inworld, yeah, I need to update that for
Inworld.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, just
So-
a thought.
So
No, it's a
No.
good idea. That's for sure. Yeah, I need to do that. Update
Yeah.
mine.
So going
Love
on from
stuff.
this, I just got to say, Don, and I showed that clip mostly because I wanted to see the part where you were had yourself on screen live performing with the people dancing, and it was
Yeah.
a great blend. And I've seen maybe a dozen of your shows in the past year, and so like I say, I'm new to this, but I really can't help but wonder if people even today at the shows have a appreciation of how much you do in a live performance. And I'm talking like a lot of music in virtual worlds can be DJing and live singing and playing, which are all they're all good, they're all great performances. But you do so many things while you're playing, and you're
Yeah,
basically
it's
playing a digital audio workstation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I use Ableton Live and it's playing back a lot of clips and loops. It's rarely just a track playing that's been pre-recorded, the whole track. If I'm singing a song, sometimes I'll use a pre-recorded track. But when I'm doing instrumental music and playing some of this newer original stuff, I'm playing drum machines, 3 or 4 different synthesizers. I'm mixing live effects. I'm playing drum fills. I'm playing transitional effects and build-ups and things like that. Solos on lead synthesizers and sometimes guitar solos, sometimes guitar parts I'm playing along. And so I'm always switching what I'm doing, and it's a way of creating music in real time that's not the same backing
It's not the
track
same
every time.
song. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bit of novelty and unpredictability to the whole thing, and there's
So do you have
potential for
someone-
disaster.
Do you have someone in World who's manipulating like the effects in World, like particles or whatever it may be, or is that all
Yeah,
you as well?
sometimes I'm doing the particles too. I'll have my favorite particles up there, and
No.
I'm doing my own particular thing for the show. Like during the Long Way show, I was doing all the particles live.
No.
And
Really?
yeah, and because I'm
Drums.
listening, most of that we're listening to the music. That one song that I sang at the end is the only one that was performed live. The
Yeah.
rest of it is just the track. Because I'm busy acting and changing sets
Right.
and driving
Right,
cars and
yeah.
all this stuff. And we're
Absolutely.
doing like live, avatar puppeteering essentially is what we're doing. And because it's not live voice, everything is recorded, right? The whole show is recorded. But
Sure.
but when I'm doing like a live music show, the only thing that's recorded are like little 4-bar loops of a bass line or a drum part or a 16-bar loop of a synthesizer part, and that's a section of a song that I can play in time, in sync with the drum machines and everything else. Everything is synchronized, so it allows me to play in a way that's not the same way every time, and improvise in a way that's more like jazz, and create live remixes and go into
Yeah.
different variations of the same song and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
do
what
you-
makes it fun
do you-
for me, because
Yeah.
for me, after like 15 years of playing covers, I was like, I'm so sick of this song. And then I
Right.
would hear it at the grocery store, and I'm like, oh my God, not one headlight again by the Wallflowers. And so, I was like,
Please
I hear
no.
this stuff all the time. And so it became a bit overplayed for me. And so I started leaning more into electronic music. And that's kind of what I've, specialized in.
I
the
guess it
last
also
few
gives you a
years.
different audience too, because some people come to the same events every week. So they meet up with their friends, and so they're listening to. And some people like to hear the same songs every week.
Sure.
Fans
but
want
That's
that.
part of it.
Yeah.
must be also challenged, for a performer to do that, because it's very repetitive. It must be wonderful
For
to try and draw
sure.
in new
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, and I've always had the intention of elevating the quality of music
Right.
in these spaces to where it's like you're hearing something new for the first time. It sounds familiar and it's accessible. It's not too weird that you don't like it, but it's like when I did change from like rock music essentially to electronic music, I did lose some fans. And so some people were like, I don't like this disco you're playing. I'm like, first of all, it's not disco. And that to me reveals more about you than it does about
Right,
me.
right.
I beg your pardon. Yeah.
And so that's the kind of like response I would get from some people are like, man, you should just go back to playing guitar. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a little tired of that. And so I just basically just had to let some people go and be, say, I'm not here to just play requests. I'm not just a singing monkey
Right.
that you put a quarter in. I'm trying to create something new and interesting for people, and,
so true.
and
Although
music
if
that
you
also
have a singing
satisfies
monkey,
me.
Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of people who would watch that.
Will our monkey work? Can we use
At
our
We would
least
monkey?
once.
we would have one if we could get a singing monkey.
Right.
This is a good
Oh,
business
careful
model.
what you wish for.
Yeah,
Right.
this is a good, because then you could just sell that and then have
Yep.
thousands of them.
Well, and I know when I've been to some of your shows that you do change up the tracks. Like you sometimes change the instrument that's on a track, and and I think some of the mashups, I think I can hear you changing things when they're inserted and played, and I love that aspect of the show.
Yeah, because every time something changes in the song from like the verse to the chorus, I'm triggering it to do that. I'm
Right.
not just waiting for the part to change and trying to get the phrasing right. I'm singing and then boom, hit a button. Now it goes to the chorus or it goes to the B section or whatever it is, and so or everything turns off and it's just a kick drum and a bass.
Right.
That type of thing. Then we
Yep.
build up from there and start improvising on top of that with different sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's what's fun about it, is not just DJing or playing other people's music or playing the same thing over and over.
thing over,
It
yeah.
it literally is like I'm doing this every time. I'm making all this music every time.
Yeah, I
Right,
totally
wow.
love it. Well, I've got just a clip here. Actually, I don't have a clip. This is a full recording of a thing you did, like 7 years ago, or maybe
Yeah,
more
this
than
is from
that.
my studio tour from 2018. So I've
2018.
added a few more pieces of equipment, some newer synthesizers and controllers and a mixer and things. But that's basically the setup that I'm still using today.
Yeah.
It's just similar.
So I think
array.
I'll just start this playing, and then we can skip through it. But it gives a nice sense of just all the stuff you're working with. So I'll get this going here.
Cool.
I think it'll get.
All right, so
there we
here's a
go.
little video on my studio setup, my broadcast rig, live rig, guitar rig, keyboard setup, all this kind of stuff. I'll give you guys a rundown of how I play live online. The stuff that I use for recording music, kind of how it's all put together and how it all works together. So let's start down here at the guitar amp. This is a Line 6 Spider Valve.
Well, I think I'll jump ahead.
From 2009.
So, there's the guitar.
It's had the frets replaced on it at least once. That's the guitar rig.
So I jump to the keyboard.
Transport controls for whatever DAW that I'm using, whether Ableton or Pro Tools. I've got fader control over my levels here of the first 8 tracks. Drums, the drums that I play.
And this is your main keyboard, if I recall.
Right, this is a MIDI controller. This doesn't have sounds in it, but it's used to control the computer, the DAW, Ableton Live. So that's what all this you're seeing now is for.
Yep, so here's the launch pad.
Here on the Akai. So this guy I use to start and stop clips. Another section is
so so that's the one side, and then on the other side you've got another. I call it Ableton controller, but it's it's
right. That's called a Livid Bass. That one's I don't use that anymore. But I've replaced it now with an Akai APC. Okay. Yeah, I've got an Akai APC 64, which is basically the same thing, but just a modern version of that. It's got touch faders, like touch sensitive little pads.
And you use it for percussion, because this one is kind of like more. You've got the percussion there, and is that still?
That was like my kick and snare and like my drum kit and bass. That was all on one side, and I've kind of condensed it and simplified things a little bit more. And so now, the drum, because I'm using a drum machine more now, I don't do it that way, but I actually use the Akai APC for, because it's also in full color now, so that's kind of.
Oh, nice, okay.
More sensitive.
So 7 years.
Play it like an instrument. They're velocity sensitive and polyphonic and all this. So
yeah. And
this is a brand new thing. I just got it a year ago, 2 years ago.
Oh, it is. Okay, all right.
And that's my old that keyboard with the orange screen. That's from 1995. That's an old Roland XP50 I've had for decades. It still works. I've got a newer one called a Roland Phantom, and that's kind of my main synth the last few years. Everything you hear on The Long Way and the last album, Reminiscent, that was all made with the Phantom.
All right.
And the System 8, that's the green one.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm skipping around here. I think I'll put a link to
that's fine.
In the description. This is the Ableton software, right?
Yeah, because it's like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, it's a long video, and so I just got to jump.
And I need to do a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should do a new studio tour video, and when I get video and lights and stuff going again this year.
Well,
so
I got to jump to the best part of this tour is that we get I like the 12 string, but we get a tour of air conditioner to keep the temps down in this.
My apartment.
And then it's an air filtration system, and then the best part is we get a tour of the toaster.
I totally forgot I did. That was so silly.
Of studio equipment. So,
you get hungry.
That's right. Well, and it's funny because I remember in the early days of video production, there was something called the video toaster. By that was on the Amiga computers, so that kind of he's got a toaster. That's cool. Anyway, like I say, I'll put a link to this in the chat.
Yeah.
So.
And I like it because it reminds me of my toaster, and I'll have to share a picture with you someday.
Right.
Mine's the next iteration of yours.
Is it the 4-slot?
Oh,
no,
boy.
it's a 2-slot, but you push a button and the toast rides down inside the little slots instead of dropping in, and then it beeps at you, which is too loud. But it's like it looks like an old Chevy kind of. It's just beautiful.
Cool. Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway. Toaster.
Speaking of toasters, yeah.
I'm getting toasted right now.
You certainly are.
So I'm fascinated by all this equipment and the way you've organized yourself to perform so well in virtual worlds. And you obviously invest a huge amount of time and money too into getting everything right for Inworld. So obviously, OpenSim, it's a much bigger space. It's kind of like the Far West compared with Second Life. It's more like Manhattan, lots of
Right, that's a
people,
good
but a very small
analogy for
space.
sure. Yeah.
And so there's a lot fewer people in OpenSim, but obviously it costs a lot less to do things here. If you want to build sets and you want to do something on a grander scale, the public may be smaller, but it's brilliant for any kind of filming because you have
That's
all
because,
this.
yeah, for machinime, for filmmaking,
Right.
and yeah, that would be fantastic. Because
And I was wondering though, in your case, what's next? What do you think you could use OpenSim for, or do you feel like Second Life is the place to be if you're a musician these days?
I think there's potential and opportunity in both. I think that OpenSim grids are starting to, become more popular, that you're seeing a population grow over here.
Yeah, they're coming into their own.
Yeah, they're coming in and they're exploring. They're like, what's going on over here? There's something different, and it's not run by a company. It's more decentralized and whatnot. So there's, in the larger sim spaces and the primcats. And so there's, all this opportunity over here. For me, I would love to build like a cyberpunk city again. We had built one a couple of years ago for the Long Way and had the theater in like a new Kowloon city, like a really kind of trashy ghetto style thing next to a high end, neon lights everywhere and lots of buildings and streets. And it was kind of made for driving and exploring with cars and things. And it was very futuristic kind of. The whole sim was like that. It was just a huge thing that we built.
Do you like to build yourself? Are you building yourself?
I used to when I had more time, but I just don't have the time for it right now. But I do enjoy building things and creating and texturing and things.
Because one of the things we've noticed in OpenSim is that kind of a little bit different to Second Life because there's, as we say, more people in a smaller space. In OpenSim, one of the biggest problems is just meeting new people who making those connections with people. So that to find the people who you are kind of on your wavelength who could maybe build something for you, and it could be a partnership of creativity. And so that's kind of, I imagine that must be quite a challenge if you have don't have the time maybe to be always in OpenSim.
Right.
You don't necessarily meet up with all the folks that might be useful to you. And that's really where social media has been such a, I'm sure Petlov and James would agree with me, OpenSim World, Discord, these sites where we're all on these so many different grids, but thanks to social media, we kind of come together and are able to communicate.
Right.
And there are so many extremely talented people here. That's what has kept me in virtual worlds. As long as it has, you meet people you would never meet otherwise.
And people looking for projects
They're amazing.
too. So
and
looking to hook up with somebody who has an interesting project, and they have the skills on the one hand to maybe make you a cyberpunk city. And just where you could perform, where you can do your thing.
Scripting, I think scripting would be my weakest point. I'm not a scripter at all. And so that would be something I would,
That's tough,
ask somebody else to do, farm it out type of thing.
That's easy to farm out.
And so that would be.
I mean, the last 10 years of OpenSim, really, I would say that's even more than the reliability. The huge jump forward for us has been, whereas before everybody's kind of just building on their own sim and didn't really know who else was out there. Now we all kind of know each other, which is a two-edged sword. But
yeah, that's cool.
We do connect. So what is up next for you? You were mentioning your next project.
Well, that's the thing is I just finished an album. I just released an album at the end of January called Reminiscent, and that's out there on Bandcamp. And so that's a collection of songs. I call them memories because they're for me. Each song represents a different memory for me that I want to hold on to. So it means a lot to me. It's a lot of instrumental synthwave and electronic music that I think people will enjoy driving around and listening to in their cars. So
you're big on Halloween. You mentioned, I think, before. Is that right? So we have that to look forward to.
That's always a fun thing. Every year I do a series called the Halloween Horror Shows, and it's anywhere from 3 to 6 parts. And so I use clips and samples from everybody's favorite horror movies, and incorporate that into the theme of the show, and play some dark techno and some really aggressive stuff, and everybody's dressed like zombies and skeletons and dressed up for Halloween. So it's always a good time, and so that's something.
For people who like OpenSim, they can find you on Groovyverse on a regular basis. Is that right?
I'm playing there a couple times a month, at Groovyverse, we have a lot of different venues and stages that we're playing at. So it's kind of interesting to go and see some different builds over there. We have a Burning Man style tent that's really big space and it's fun to play in. We got a warehouse. It's kind of a steampunk style thing. And so that's more of like an indoor stage in a warehouse situation. And there's like
kind of a
different beach
spot.
areas.
Yeah.
What's that?
Isn't there kind of a gardeny spot? It's kind of like a bunch of flowers and stuff.
Yeah, there's more of an outdoor garden area, outdoor stage, and so we have different areas over there because the Sims are so big. You can just have these places all over the place, and so I've been enjoying finding new people and playing songs and finding new people to connect with over at Groovyverse, and I kind of want to see what else. Yeah, and it's we can put on the same level of visual entertainment and I play the music and try to entertain people and take them on a little journey, and because that's kind of the thing about electronic music. It's not so much a story with lyrics in English, right? It's just you're hearing a musical journey, more like jazz or like orchestral music. And so that's what electronic music is for me. It's we're going on a journey together. And an experience that we're having together, and it's an intensity or a feeling or a vibe, as the kids like to call it. But
That's awesome.
Oh, those kids.
That's kind of what it's about, and so that's the difference, I think, in what I'm doing and what compared to what I used to do, and playing cover songs and singing familiar favorites and things like that, and we're taking requests.
And it feels like it really fits with the opportunities that virtual worlds offer to kind of escape reality.
Yeah, and it's kind of futuristic in a way. It's like and being a part of that, and also,
and I think it expands on realities. Is how I felt
about
virtual worlds.
It's for sure.
It gives you alternatives, just
right.
whatever you can imagine.
Right. Well, as I thought, this has been a fantastic interview. It's really been great to have you. And Don, I just wanted to ask, did you have any folks you wanted to call out? Who you've been working with or wanted to recognize? I know the particle shows are great at your performances.
For sure, yeah. Well, in Groovyverse would be DZ and Hyacinth have been real supportive. Dr. Dave has been super supportive, and so that's been cool meeting some new people over there and making new friends. And over in Second Life would be Ganja Girl.
Yep.
And the whole crew over there, Sasha and Eva and Zoe and everybody.
Yeah,
we have a good time over there.
Yeah, those are great.
And then I'm starting to play some gigs at my friend Morgan Voltaire's venue called Voltaire's Crossing. That's where we did a show recently. So we've been having some big shows lately.
Yeah.
Many worlds.
Yep, absolutely. And I love the show on April 20th. What's that all about? No, we don't have to go there. April 20th. What's that? The police.
Oh yeah, the 420 show.
Yeah,
for sure.
Show.
Yeah,
was great, and that actually had superlative particles. That was amazing show.
Yeah, I think Ganja Girl was doing particles that night. Also, my friend Moondance Parks sometimes does particle shows. She's a lighting specialist and an artist.
Yep.
So and it's fun to collaborate.
We should also ask you: Are you available for if people want to book you for a performances on other grids?
Absolutely. Yeah, they just contact me directly. I just do my own booking and calendar. So just send me a message. And I'll get back to you, or go to my website and contact me that way. That's a good way to do it, on the contact page. And we can set something up.
Yeah, hopefully this show will give you a little bit of the Inworld review bump, and we'll get those links up there and get things out to you. So, well, I think it's time to wrap up. We're about at time, but I do want to say thank you to Pet Love and to Thurza. Thank you both for being here today.
James.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thanks, you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to come.
Also, of course,
talk about myself, I guess.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well,
it was so interesting.
Yeah, get the word out.
Yeah.
You gotta get
Great
the word
stuff.
out. It's awesome. Well,
I appreciate y'all.
I'm going to wrap things up then. And as always, I want you all just to be kind to each other, take care of each other, and we'll all get through this together. And I appreciate that. It's peace. That's what we do, man. And it's the best way to go. So I'm going to say goodbye, and until the next time we're all together, we will see you.
Sayonara.
Bye, everybody.